Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the OnReviewCast. I'm your host here, Ash, and welcome back, guys. I'm so happy to be back here reviewing another episode of House of Dragon, Season 2, Episode 2, on review. But like I said before, welcome guys. I'm your host here, Ash, and today that's what we're going to be getting into. And yeah, if you haven't been here before, guys, this is a on-review cast where we break down episodes of our favorite TV shows, movies, and all things media. And, you know, we get into them, we talk about things, and then we get into how they make us feel, what they're really trying to portray on the screen, on the big screen. Not on the big screen, the small screen, but it's TV. All right. Well, just like every other episode, guys, this is season 2, episode 2 of the On-Review Cast. We're going to get our episode synopsis, our episode breakdown, courtesy of Fandom. And this episode is called Rhaenyra the Cruel. Rhaenyra the Cruel is the second episode of the second season of the House of the Dragon. It is the 12th episode of the series overall, and it premiered on June 23rd, 2024 on HBO and HBO Max. It was written by Sarah Hess and directed by Claire Klein. I butchered the name there, but anyway. Synopsis: As Otto schemes to turn the public against her, Rhaenyra questions Daemon's loyalty. Meanwhile, Sir Christian Cole connects a misguided plan for revenge. Yeah, Cole is a psychopath. That's all I gotta say about this one, really, honestly. I mean, in general, I think we already know this. We've established this from long ago, but man. So yeah, let's just get into it, guys. Let's just jump into this episode. This episode, kind of slower paced. I'm being honest. Not that it's not that exciting, not that great or whatever. But like, I mean, it just comes honestly, it comes off the heels right off of season 2, episode 1, because there's the heels of episode 1 where we, you know, got that shocking revelation of where Helena runs out of the room and she does nothing, basically to alert the rest of the house that, you know, some fucked up shit's actually happening. But yeah, it picks our back off, and we see everybody, you know, in scrambling around the castle in King's Landing, and we're panicking and having all kind of, it's basically chaos. It's chaos and disorganization from the hullabaloo to the habala. I don't know, from the up to the down, so from everywhere within this castle. And basically, we get a shot of Aegon, who is freaking the fuck out right now, who's losing his shit because, you know, and rightfully so, because, you know, one of his sons died. His heir is you know, and I mean, especially back then, like, you know, your son and your kinship is basically based like everything. Like, I mean, it still is kind of sort of somewhat relevant today, but like, it's, you know, like he even says it, like it's his legacy, it's how he goes on to, and extends to the Iron Throne. And he's just destroying everything, and he's just so upset. You know, everybody, it's a real critical mood dampening time. Them coming off of this, feeling, you know, like because a child, innocent, a baby, was just, you know, murdered. It's fucked up on every levels, man. Honestly, because I know that, like, realistically, like, here's the thing. I mean, these things are fiction. These stories are fiction. All these characters are fiction. But like, George R.R. Martin and people in general, they draw stories from, you know, real life events or real life happenings. So, and then people out there, they do these gross and gruesome, horrible fucking things to children, and it's unacceptable and gross on every level. So I understand the anger. If I'm being honest, I kind of resonate with it. Like I felt like his anger and his reaction overall warranted, and the actor does a fantastic job, in my opinion, of you know, portraying all of this. It's very, very believable on every level and every sense of the word. But anyway, continuing on the story, so they hold this council meeting. Of course, they have to have a fucking council meeting because we gotta have a meeting about everything. Why not? Why the fuck not? But especially this, because I think this is actually really important, because, you know, again, an innocent child, besides the fact that an innocent child was murdered, a royalty innocent child was basically murdered. And of course, while they're having this meeting, so Laris, boy toy Laris of Alicent, walks in and he's like, oh, yo, I found the killer. And he's like, and Aegon is automatically like, oh, you know what? Fantastic. I'll go murder him myself. And just when he's getting ready to go out there and just to take care of business, Otto Hightower is like, no. We have a better strategy of, dealing with this. Maybe it might be more pertinent for us to or maybe more beneficial for us to, get some information from this guy. So, and we can't allow you to murder him. It's like Kristen Cole's it's like, no, it's fine. And then Otto Hightower basically goes over Aegon's head and commands Cole to go ahead and interrogate this motherfucker and get some information out of him, which is the right fucking move. But again, like I said, the anger and the upset of basically losing his son has blinded him, and they portrayed that very beautifully. I think anybody would be irrational and not thinking of just okay, let's just fuck him up, fuck the information. I just want revenge. Understandable, very believable kind of thing. So they continue on leaving. Boy Toy, Laris, and Cole basically leave the room. They leave the room and they go off to deal with the person who murdered his child. And so they continue on with this meeting, and they decide to make this plot to just blame it all on Rhaenyra. Why the fuck not? I mean, she's our enemy anyway. We might as well use this against us. We don't know all the facts and details. We don't know that this is actually her or not, but fuck it. Why the fuck not? And it just, honestly, here's the thing. Again, I mentioned this on the OnReviewCast. Liars and lying. Why do you gotta lie? You don't have to lie. Before we even knew that this was Rhaenyra or an attack by Rhaenyra's team, the plan to frame her was there. It was there already. And that's how you could tell the nature of certain people. It's just that are just fucked. You already planning some wicked shit. Some wicked shit has already happened and has happened to you. So you in kind respond with oh, we got to do more wicked shit. I mean, well, understandably, again, the anger is there and is warranted, but you have to. Cooler heads will prevail, and I'm not saying people are allowed to get angry at this or whatever it is. And that's not what I'm saying at all. No, be angry, be mad. But I think Otto Hightower kind of sort of has a point of at least keeping a cooler head. Keeping a cooler head, but not fucking blaming it all on Rhaenyra and calling her Rhaenyra the Cruel. Name of the episode, name drop. But it's fucked up in all kinds of ways to just go ahead and let's do some wicked shit and just blame this other person on it. Anyway, I thought that was fucked. Anyway, so the plan now, which they've come up with, is to parade Helena and Alicent to basically show some kind of, to connect with these people in some kind of I guess motherly kind of sorrowful, kind of regretful kind of way to show that how much pain that the family is in, because of Rhaenyra has done. This is all a PR stunt. This is all strategy and a PR stunt. And Alicent and of course Helena basically are not comfortable with it and they refuse. But because Otto fucking Hightower is running basically the show more than the king, someone even more than the king. They go along with it and they parade this babies. This is so fucking gross. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But this, to me, this is, again, it's just, I said it before, just gut punching kind of feeling, dude. They parade this child's body through the streets to show their sadness for the child. And those couple of scenes, man, I gotta say, really rough to watch. I mean, besides the fact that it's a child, they actually, because I was watching it on the first go about, and I was like, oh, they're gonna show, we know what happens. They're gonna show the body, and they show the body, and it's I know it's Game of Thrones, but and it's supposed to make you it's supposed to push that boundary, right? That make you even cringe a little bit as to whether it's a good cringe or bad cringe or just awkward cringe. It's supposed to make you cringe, but that was just, I feel like that was a bit much Game of Thrones. That was a bit much. They showed the thing is, I guess my thing is they showed the body, right? While Helena and Alicent is being paraded about through these streets, in the scene, as they planned. But they didn't have to show the scarring on the neck where he cut that got me. If it was just but it's the medieval times, right? I mean, I guess they didn't really have proper what you call it, the funeral makeup artists or whatever. I don't even know what the proper term for those people are, but yeah, I guess they didn't necessarily have that. And that was That was rough, man. That was a kind of a rough thing to watch. But even more rougher, so like they even described, Helena and Allison are not having a good time. You can see it in their faces. They are very, very uncomfortable. Helena even more so, because Helena is kind of like an introvert. I mean, kind of like, she's kind of like she's not really a people person, but she's just more like I think she's a cooler, like more relaxed one out of all the more royalty family of the Greens. In my opinion, she seems like that's the opinion that I got from her. Beautiful actress, and she played that role of feeling very uncomfortable and feeling very unease in this role as well. So it looks very good. It all looks very believable and very, very good. But I gotta ask you guys something, like, when I was watching the scene. Because as they're going through the city and everybody's mourning her and they're throwing these like rice and all these other things towards her because of what she's going through, they actually get stuck in a pothole, which is so fucked. And the motherfuckers can see the pothole that was there. Like, they can swerve around the pothole. I mean, this is a very important event. This is the funeral or the parading of some royalty child being murdered. This is a very important event. They can fucking avoid the fucking the pothole. So anyway, they get stuck in this goddamn pothole. and it's like, as they get stuck, they're trying to pull it out. They're trying to like wedge themselves out of it. And the entire time I'm thinking, oh God, this is Game of Thrones. I'm like, how fucked are we gonna get? Like, because the body is like, at first when I saw it, if you look at this scene, I think that the body is like in like a casket, but it's like, no, it's just like out there in the open. It's like on top. It's weird. It's like on top of a casket. You would think that something like is a casket. It's a very weird thing. And they get stuck in this hole and they're trying to wedge it and they're trying to pull it back and forth. You could see the body like moving, and I'm just like, oh God in heaven, please don't let the body fall, because like that would be some. I just thought in my head, that's where my mind went. Let me know if you guys think your mind went there too, because I feel like that. I was like, oh God, please don't let the body fall. Please don't let the body fall. It's awkward as fuck already that this body is out here, and it's just like they have the sewing on his neck, and then he got cut. It was just, that was rough to watch. That was rough to watch. But again, this is House of the Dragon, not Game of Thrones. This is House of the Dragon, and this era of Middle Ages kind of things. Yeah, it's to almost somewhat be expected at this point, if I'm being honest. But yeah. Anyway, continuing on with the episode, Rhaenyra gets like word of this and all of this this shenanigans that basically going on in King's Landing, how she's basically being blamed for the murder of a child, which is not basically the case. We know that it was all Daemon's basically doing. And Rhaenyra actually confronts Daemon and is like, yo, what the fuck? Did you do this? And he's like, yeah, I sent some people out to get Aemon, not a baby, not a child, not an innocent. And Rhaenyra is like, oh, Rhaenyra is like, oh, what were your detailed instructions? What did you fucking tell these people to do? And he said exactly, find Aemon Aemon, the one who killed Lucerys, and murder him. Get the revenge. And Alice and Rhaenyra, sorry. And Rhaenyra is basically questioning him and saying that, okay, well, if he wasn't to be found, what then? And he kind of like basically dodges the question. And it's so funny because it's like, she basically confronts him as to like, this is all a plan, all a ploy to basically like sabotage me, right? And basically so you can get the throat. That's basically what the conversation was about. And he was kind of like just getting kind of upset at the fact he would even think that way. But like during that conversation, and he's trying to basically convince her like, hey, like I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I placed the crown upon you when Sir Eric or whatever brought it back from King's Landing, and then and he's basically trying to he's basically like, yo, I'm on your side. And she was just like, she gave the most straight up white girl answer. She's like, I don't believe you. And she walks away. I like, yeah, like guys, like you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those girls who are just like who just believe like they're just so like self-righteous and they're just like right no matter what. Like their truth is that's it, and that's to be all this relationship. She's like, I don't believe you, and she walks away. I was like, oh, and I was just like, damn, dude, I've been there. And like honestly, at this point with Daemon, who knows? Who the fuck knows what his intentions are, really? And we've been saying this from season 1. I mean, like he calmed down a little bit towards the end of the season 1 towards the end. It's like, all right. And he started to get with Rhaenyra. It's like, all right, he's starting to look a little bit more upstanding. But it's still a very wavy and curvy line when it comes to what he wants, what he desires, and whose side he's really on. It's a lot of questions and an enigma around this character, Daemon. In my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So anyway, Daemon fucks off. He's going to Harrenhal. He's going to probably, apparently, that's what he said. Well, he said that in the conversation. We don't know exactly where he's going. If he's going to actually specifically go there or not. But we see him fuck off and go to Harrenhal. And Rhaenyra basically sends Baela off on a mission to get the feel of King's Landing and see what's going on. And that's basically essentially the gist of what happens. Something else we need to talk about in this episode as well is Sir Criston Cole. So Criston Cole, the psychopath, pussy craved. I don't even know how to describe it. Psycho pussy craved, a fuckboy. I don't know. He's just, there's so much ways that we could basically describe him. But I think that psychopath. I don't know. He was donning a lot of titles. The pure, again, we have pure hypocrisy in this bullshit, where we see Sir Criston Cole basically enters the scene where he enters the dining hall and he meets Sir Alec, not Eric, because Eric is with Rhaenyra. Alec is with them. Sir Alec is having his, dinner, lunch, or whatever it is, and he basically stops him and he says that, oh, your cloak is basically dirty, it's sullied, essentially. He's like, yeah, that's from the proceedings of last night, and that was because I was in the shit. He was like, I'll clean it right after I eat, and he's like, no, you'll clean it now. And I was like, Sir Criston Cole, of all the motherfuckers to be telling who should be cleaning whose cloak and etc., how dare you? You know what I mean? How fucking dare you? Who the fuck? Bro, who the fuck do you think you are, Cole? You fucking every princess left, right, and center. Every princess and queen left, right, and center. And you ain't supposed to be fucking nobody left, right, nobody in general. So you're the one who we got that from the first episode. You're the one that basically sullied your cloak. And he started asking him questions about like, oh, where were you the night that basically Jaehaerys, the baby that got murdered, where were you when he got murdered? And it's like, dude, where were you? You were fucking Alicent. You were supposed to be watching. You were supposed to be on the watch of that night. You're supposed to making sure like if you weren't fucking princesses and queens, maybe that person would have lived. Maybe the traitors within the castle would have been caught. And it wouldn't have been a big deal. A life would have been saved. So, but instead, I felt like he just blames someone else on it, and he basically steers Sir Alec towards infiltrating Rhaenyra's castle. And he has this brilliant idea. It's like, oh, you'll just pose as your brother, Eric. You'll just pose as Eric, and it'll be fine. And you'll try to basically murder Rhaenyra from within. And because he's the Lord Commander, he's his superior. He orders him to do this, and he's like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll essentially do this. Something that I also just basically found funny within this episode. So within that scene was like, as he's telling him this and he's questioning him, he's like, oh, where were you? X, Y, and Z. Before he gives him this plan of basically going to go and murder Rhaenyra, he kicks the table, and then everybody around him and other knights, members of the Night's Watch was basically hear this and see this mini kerfuffle between Sir Alec and Cole, and we see them fighting, and he destroys a bench or something like that. I found it funny. The other knights were around, they were like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. He was like, oh, some shit's going on. We're getting the fuck out of here. I thought that was so funny. There was no loyalty within the knights. Within the Knights of King's Landing. Motherfuckers was just like, yo, okay, they're doing their thing. I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here, because Sir Criston Cole is in charge of them, and it is basically the running the show of all those motherfuckers in general. Yeah, so much with this episode. Sorry. So there's a lot that happened in this episode. Also within this episode, we got a few scenes that were not so, I guess, like not so pregnant to the main plot, but stuff like, but I thought it was like kind of sort of somewhat interesting way. Stuff like Amon hanging out with his first time lover, his well, not first time lover, well, his whore, apparently, we saw her for season 1. I thought it was interesting that they brought her back and he's just cradling with her, and he's like in her lap, and like it kind of shows like how fucked up his mind is, because this is supposed to be some sex then, but it looks more like a mother child kind of scene. Do you know what I mean? Like how he was just curled up on to her, and it basically shows how Allison, their mom, has been doing a fantastic job raising these children. Not really, but it basically showed that, and I thought that, like, to myself, like, this is why. See, it just shows. It further proves why and how more fucked up essentially these people essentially are. So like I said, there are some more situations and things that happened in this, so it wasn't so relevant as well, because we got the white worm, who was the stowaway that Damon was keeping him basically essentially as a slave, talking with Rhaenyra, and she wanted to try to get information out of her, but Rhaenyra eventually lets her go, and it proves beneficial. We see later on with an episode, and we'll talk about that later in a second, how that was beneficial as well. So also something significant that happened within this episode too is the blow up with Otto Hightower and Sir Aemon's second of his name. So Otto Hightower got fired as a hand. I mean, I kind of saw it coming. Definitely saw it coming. Like, it wasn't really necessarily a big thing, I think. Like, we all kind of saw this coming because of the way that Sir Laris is basically inside of, this guy's ear, telling him that, that was your father's king of the hand. You just not to be your king of the hand and all this other stuff. And like, this whole blow up basically happens because we have Aemon, Aegon, sorry. We have Aegon, second of his name, who had sent out the order to kill all the fucking rat catchers that was assigned to his castle at the time, and display their bodies out in the streets so everybody could see that it was the traitorous mouse catchers or rat catchers that had essentially betrayed the king, and he's showing his cruelty and vengeance upon it. And Otto Hightower comes storming into his quarters because he's mad and upset, because it's not good PR, guys. It just doesn't look good. It's not great. It's not a good look. And rightfully so. I mean, he made up a lot of good points in that moment. I mean, I'll give you this, guy. Otto Hightower is a son of a bitch. He's one son of a bitch, and he's a mess. But because he orchestrated and he caused all this, he divided the realm. He helped do all of this and divide the realm on all this other bullshit. I mean, he did all of that stuff, but I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this man wasn't intelligent to some degree. You can be very intelligent and you can be very, very smart, but you can also be an asshole and be fucking wrong and be just fucking dirty, like how he is, and just a big fucking mess. I believe and agree that is what Otto Hightower is 110%, 110 plus 3,000%. That's what Otto Hightower is. But he's intelligent. He made a lot of good points, and he made some points as to, like, your father. He just basically said, like, your father wasn't like this at all. He made strategic moves. He didn't just throw away and show how cruel he was as a king, to get to dissuade people's minds from the love and affection that essentially that he had worked on and he had accumulated through showing the body of the little prince out there in public, and showing the body along with the grandmother and the mother out there parading the body essentially, and they had won the hearts of the people, but Aegon had thrown that away by hanging people and showing how cruel and how almost like wicked, almost to the degree of apparently what the story is anyway, Rhaenyra can essentially be. So he believes that he has now destroyed all the hard work of bringing the people over to his side into question now. So that's what basically the whole blow up is about. And then during this, he's like, fuck dignity. Fuck dignity. That's the exact line that he says. And that, again, it's out of frustration and anger. The fact that, it's out of frustration and anger over the fact that his son has been murdered, and understandably so. But it's gonna sound fucked up, but I kind of almost agree with all the Hightower that you didn't have to parade them about the outside the walls of the kingdom like that to show how cool you were. how serious you were as a king. If anything, that kind of shows how weak you are, and it kind of shows how childish you are as well. Obviously, like Aegon, he's very childish in general, but yeah. And it is in the sequence too that Aegon actually tells Sir Otto Hightower that Cole, Sir Christian Cole has now acted and sent Sir Alric to go ahead and slay Rhaenyra within our own quarters under the guise of his brother. And it's Otto Hightower's reaction is like, by the gods. By the gods, he's an idiot. And honestly, we'll talk about it in a second, but I'm not gonna lie, guys, that was fucked. That whole entire sequence fucked, and I will say pretty fucking stupid, in my opinion. But also, from a perspective of entertainment, we'll get there. Okay, we're getting there. Anyway, so in the end, Otto Hightower, like I said, is fucking fired. He's like no longer hanging the king, and he says, "Give it to Christian Cole." And I'm like, dude, what? What? Give it to who? This psychopath, pussy, drunken pussy, drunk off a pussy, psychopathic killer who was just crazy. Give him the House of the Ham and give him the power of the hand. Really, you're gonna make him hand? And just as Otto Hightower said it, I agree with it. He says, "You will regret this." And I'm like, motherfucker, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Let's talk about Cole for a minute. Honestly, if you guys have not seen it yet, or if you guys haven't seen the psychopathic nature of Christian Cole by now, you're not watching the same show I am. That motherfucker is crazy. He's crazy. I don't think he gives. And he's you know why he's crazy? He has a dissonance and a disbelief as to him being as to where his goals lie and where his dignities lies. He is a dissonance as to what he believes in and what he wants and what he's doing at the same time. He's crazy. He says one thing, but he does another. He's about one thing, but does another. That's how you know a motherfucker's crazy. He does one thing and says another. Says one thing, does another. Like the two opposite conflicting things that's going on within fucking Christian Cole. He's not supposed to be fucking no girls. He's fucking girls. He's not supposed to be murdering motherfuckers like in the season 1, murder motherfuckers who knew about him and Rhaenyra fucking, but he murdered them anyway. I think Cole is out for him, and he just wouldn't blink twice if someone told him to murder someone, or if he knew that he needed to murder someone to keep a secret or get away with something devious or evil. We've seen him do psychotic shit and him now being hand, giving him that power of hand. We already seen him also abuse this power, certain authoritative power, sending Alric into there to basically, we gotta get into that, to basically get murdered. I'll just do spoilers or whatever. To basically get murdered and to come up with these horrible fucking stratagems to fucking win the day, which is, I don't know. I agree with Otto Hightower. This is a bad fucking plan, bro. This is a bad idea. But again, Aegon is just a boy playing king. I mean, yeah, he has the title or whatever. I guess suppose he has some power to some degree, but doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's not doing a great job, in my opinion. But he's not supposed to be up there in the first place. It's supposed to be Rhaenyra. So there you go. All right, so continuing on. Now we get to the finale of this bullshit. Oh my God. And it's like, it's good, bad, good. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how you would like to describe it, but sure. So, guys, let me know what you think about this whole sequence. So, Sir Eric shows up to this castle, pretending to be Sir Eric, and he's at this place where Rhaenyra basically essentially is, and he's walking through the castle. Nobody knows there's a thing at first, and the guardian says, "Sir Eric, I thought you were within." And he's like, "No, you need to keep a better guard." And he infiltrates this castle, no fucking problem whatsoever. I feel, first of all, off the cuff, I feel that they should have come up with some kind of... They should have... Again, yes, it's medieval times. People were stupid. But they should have seen or come up with a plan to some sort of degree for like people to understand that these motherfuckers are like brothers. We should be able to tell them apart from somehow, because through this entire sequence, nobody questions who is who, and everybody's confused. And if you're watching it realistically, it's basically an episode of like Face Off or those cheesy fucking movie things. It's like, oh, which one's which? I don't know which one to shoot. They both look the same. Oh my God! Like it's basically that. I think it was a cheap gimmick. Gimmick. This is basically the best way to put it. It was a gimmick. It was a Hollywood movie gimmick thing that they always fucking do. The Hollywood gimmick movie trope thing what they always do. They can do, I can't tell which was which. Oh, I'm so confused, blah, blah, blah. But it's realistically, and here's the thing, here's the kicker out of the podcast. Thank you for listening all the way through if you made it this far, guys, because I'm going to reveal what actually happened, and I'm going to reveal who. If you don't know, if you saw the episode, you don't know who won. I'm going to tell you who won and which it was an apparent. So anyway, Elena, this is not right. So, Rhaenyra is basically preparing for bed. She's getting into her chambers and she's getting uncomfortable. And Sir Eric finally makes it towards her chamber. And she sits, so she's like, "Oh, Sir Eric," and she's like, and Sir Eric pulls out his sword. He's like, "No, motherfucker, I'm Eric, not Eric." They're twins. It's so funny. And she's actually saying that, but it's like that. And then like not 2 seconds later, like, which is just so unbelievable, Sir Eric bursts in the door and he's like, "Brother!" And it's like, bro, really? I mean, like, it's so convenient that like he would just walk in the door at the same time. I mean, yes, they did a few cuts to show that basically, I mean, like, he might have been suspicious that his brother was around, but it's questionable. So anyway, so the tension basically rises, and Eric goes after Rhaenyra, basically trying to slay her, and Eric basically essentially stops it. And so the two face off and they begin to fight. And it's a sword battle that's within the depths that you've never seen. It's a sword battle. Okay, so it's a sword. I don't know why I'm a pirate now, but anyway. It's a sword battle like you've never seen, and it's a good. Honestly, here's the thing: it's a good fight, choreography wise, like and as far as like Game of Thrones wise, of two knights fighting, it's pretty good. And this entire time, Eric is trying to slay Rhaenyra. And at one point, she actually even tries to run away, and Eric trips. Eric trips in, and Eric falls. And if all you have to do really, because I think I'll give you honest with you guys. First watch around, I was kind of confused by this as to which is which, and realistically, it doesn't even really matter until like towards the end. But I just feel like this entire sequence is just so dumb. It was just so dumb. It was like overdoing this like wacky fucking Hollywood shit. I can't tell which is which. Oh my God. And you know, it's like at the end, they always shoot the wrong one or they always kill the wrong one. It's wacky. It was wacky. It was weird. And it just, I don't know. It wasn't cringe. It was just like, it was tired. How many times are we gonna fucking go through this? What was really dumb though is that when Sir, the other guy who came in, I don't remember his Elena or whatever it is, the handmaiden basically essentially got him when she ran off. And he ran off. she ran off and she went to go get the other knight. And the other knight basically comes in, the bald-headed guy, and they're trying to escape. And it's like I don't understand. Like, which door did he come? Like, maybe okay. The door that he came out of was on the opposite side of the room. Why did they not just run to that same door or that same side as to which they ran out of? She tried to go through another door that was fucking locked, that was closed. I don't know, what the fuck? And essentially she was trapped. And after that, she just kind of fucking stood there and watched them fight and stood behind this other knight. I don't understand. Rhaenyra makes some. I don't think you could. Oh, she's definitely fucking royalty as a princess, because that was so fucking dumb. Okay, if this first door doesn't work, and I guess people panic. People do panic in a situation. But if this first door doesn't work, fuck off and go to the next one. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucked. Anyway, so this battle continues, and one of the twins strikes down the other one, stabbing him through the chest, through the stomach. And basically, that's the end of the conflict, and they essentially stop fighting. Now, if you didn't know, Sir Eric, E with the E, the one that was on Rhaenyra's side, he won that fight. And you would think to yourself, okay, if he won, he didn't really, and because towards the end of the fight, he murders himself. You would think because he won, he didn't really need to murder himself. But here's how I knew that was Eric. He says, "Your Grace." He would have not, if it was Eric, the one who came there to kill her, he would have not called her Your Grace. He would have called her Rhaenyra, or traitor, or is we still trying to murder her, despite him being outnumbered. And I mean, like, at the same time, as stupid as the fight was, I was thinking to myself, does this really matter? And like, would they ever really be able to trust you again because of like the fact that you were a twin, and like which one really is who? We were able to really tell. And I guess from a writing perspective, and from even a twin perspective, he was just thinking it would probably be better if we both were dead. That way there would be no question about it. In terms of like being ever really being able to trust. So he literally falls on a sword and he kills himself, and that was the end of it. I thought that sequence was so dumb though. Oh my god! Like, honestly, all he had to basically do, which is funny, is like thinking about it now. All they really basically had to do was the lady that Rhaenyra had let go, that Daemon was fucking around with, the White Worm. All they had to do was, because she came back to warn Rhaenyra, all they had to do was get her in a room, separate the both of them. Once the reinforcement had basically come, he didn't have to kill himself. Basically, go up to him and ask him, the one who survived, what's her name? And they would have been like, and he would have, Eric, which it was, but it would have been like, oh, her name is blah, blah, blah. Because she was there when she let him go. And that's how she had recognized that it was her brother trying to infiltrate the castle. Oh, that's all that needed to happen. And he would have lived, and it would have been fine, and that would have been the end of it. And which is ironic, because Sir Eric probably could have done the same thing. He could have infiltrated the castle and slain all the Greens in opposite and in kind. But that didn't happen. Anyway, realistically, guys, that's the end of the episode. I do want to talk about one thing towards the end, where it's Tristan Cole and Alicent do fuck. But before that, it's funny because they fuck, whatever. But before that, guys, someone out there's got to make a meme of this. Like, Sir Otto Hightower and Alicent are basically having a conversation, and it's so funny. Alicent is having, you think that Alicent is having a heart-to-heart talk with her dad, and it's like, oh yeah, Dad, like, I'm just telling you about my hardships and everything that I'm basically going through, and I'm having a hard time, and you know, it's just been so hard and difficult, and it's been so hard and difficult because I've sinned, Dad, I've done bad things, I've done horrible things. And Otto Hightower looks at her and just like, I do not wish to hear it. It's like, I don't want to hear your bullshit, bitch. Like, basically, that's what it is. And I was like, well, fuck. I mean, no wonder everybody in this family's fucked up, because you taught them to be fucked up. My God. And realistically, we see that not 5 seconds later, when Alicent goes to Aegon's chambers and he's crying, he's having a hard time because he lost his son. And she just looks at her son, thinking that she should help, and she fucks off to go get some dick from Christian Cole. That's what it is. She fucks off to go get some dick from Christian Cole, and they end up fucking, and that's the end of the episode. Anyway, guys, yeah, and I've been ranting for a bit, but it's been a longer one. But if you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. We're just going to jump into Ash's favorite scenes real quick and get this done with. Ash's favorite scenes coming in at number 3. It's Helena and her mother's trot to the town. That was my favorite scene because they did a good job acting there. Really pushed the boundaries of like, yes, it's Game of Thrones, it's House of Dragons, what we saw, and I was like, ooh, a little cringy there. But like, again, that's what this art is about. This art is about, it's a little bit about shock and awe and pushing the boundaries of like what we actually see and what we can actually just show the roughness and toughness of medieval times. Coming in at number 2, The King's Revenge on the Gold Plug for his son. Yeah, we didn't really even get a chance to talk about this, man. Like, he beat the shit out of that motherfucker. And I thought that's funny is like, he's just the second they caught this motherfucker and they had him tied up, so Laris had him tied up or whatever, and chained up in this place. He was like, it was Damon. He sings like a fucking bird. And he's like, okay, thanks for the information. And he just sends the king in, and the king bashes his head, and I mean, rightfully so. I mean, like, those emotions I think we feel for the king in that moment are somewhat justifiable because, you know, of this horrible act that he did. Yeah. And then lastly, coming in at number 1, as fucked as stupid as it was, Eric versus Arik, the fight of the twin idiots. Oh my God. This was just, I'm watching it, I'm just sitting there watching, I was like, this is so fucking dumb. God, this is dumb. You know what I mean? You've ever seen anything like you're just sitting there and you're just like, Jesus, this is dumb. Like it was bad, but it was also good. Like I said, because it was good to an extent because it was interesting as to see like trying to figure out like which one was who, and also kind of like I just, the ending was dumb. He didn't have to kill himself, and then like it was good. It was good, but also bad because we've seen it a ton of times. It was overdone. It was hacky, right? It was hacky, and there was a better way that you could have seen that. Like, we didn't have to have his brother fight him at the same time, or we didn't have to have both of them die. I don't know. That's about it. Lastly, we're gonna get into the on-review score. Our review is gonna give this, honestly, as okay as this. Well, this is okay. I'm gonna give it a 2.5. 2.5 out of 5. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that good? It was all right. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the end of the episode. I'm out of time, way over time. If you made it all the way to the end, like I said before, thank you so much for listening. You are champion. And lastly, guys, don't forget to hit us up on all of our socials. We want to hear from you in the comments and right down below. And do that if you're watching on YouTube, but also on our socials, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter. Go ahead and make sure you interact with us. Let us know how you feel about these fantastic shows. And also, guys, don't forget to hit us up on our Patreon. And don't forget to listen to Ash the Anomalies. Boo, the single that's out as well right now. We have some other tracks coming out from Ash the Anomaly. Be on the lookout for that as well. So become a fan and hit me up also for Ash the Anomaly on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also, lastly, guys, I just want to say, don't forget to do this like I say in every episode. Be safe, be kind, be you. Take care.